Escape the endless scroll with the One Islam TV app, your halal entertainment solution on all platforms. One God, one message, one purpose of life. Subscribe now.
The significance of the Temple of Solomon in Islam transcends its physical presence. It stands as a symbol of Allah's supreme authority, the importance of humility and obedience, and the consequences of arrogance and disobedience. The temple reminds Muslims of the trials faced by past nations, urging them to remain steadfast in their faith and to use Allah's blessings wisely. Above all, it calls believers to submit to the one true God, recognizing that all power and wisdom ultimately belong to Him. The symbolic significance in Islam. The Temple of Solomon, known as Baytul Maqdis or Masjidul Aqsa, is closely linked with Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, also known as Solomon in English. Allah blessed Sulaiman alayhi salam with immense wisdom, power, and the ability to command jinn, animals, and even the wind. These extraordinary gifts were not given to glorify Sulaiman alayhi salam, but to demonstrate Allah's supreme authority and the potential of divine guidance when one remains humble and obedient. The temple was a manifestation of Allah's blessings upon Sulaiman alayhi salam. It was a place where worshippers gathered to honor Allah, seeking His mercy and forgiveness. The presence of the temple emphasized that no matter how great one's achievements or status, everything comes from Allah, and it is to Him alone that worship is due. The lessons drawn from the temple are timeless, reminding Muslims to value humility and recognize that all power and wisdom ultimately belong to Allah. Lessons in humility and obedience. Sulaiman alayhi salam, despite his unmatched power, never allowed his status to cloud his judgment or deviate from his role as Allah's servant. He was always mindful that his authority was a trust from Allah, not a personal entitlement. This serves as a powerful reminder to Muslims today about the importance of humility and obedience to Allah's commands. The story of Sulaiman alayhi salam teaches Muslims that true success lies not in material wealth or worldly achievements, but in maintaining a sincere connection with Allah. Sulaiman alayhi salam continually sought Allah's guidance and favor, never becoming arrogant or self-reliant despite his unparalleled gifts. This highlights the importance of turning to Allah in all circumstances and acknowledging that His wisdom surpasses all human understanding. One of the key lessons from the Temple of Solomon is the danger of arrogance and misusing the blessings that Allah bestows upon individuals. The Quran recounts various stories of nations that were destroyed because they turned away from Allah despite the divine favors they received. This serves as a cautionary tale for all believers. Sulaiman alayhi salam was granted extraordinary power, yet he always used it to fulfill Allah's commands. He never exploited his gifts for personal gain or to oppress others. His story is a warning against the misuse of divine blessings. When one becomes arrogant and misuses what Allah has provided, whether it be wealth, power, knowledge, or influence, they risk losing Allah's favor and facing His wrath. The temple itself is a reminder that all worldly accomplishments are temporary and must be used in a manner that pleases Allah. Muslims are taught to be grateful for Allah's blessings and to use them responsibly, always mindful of the accountability they will face in the hereafter. The Temple of Solomon also serves as a reminder of the trials and challenges faced by the Bani Israel, children of Israel. Throughout history, the Bani Israel were blessed with many prophets, including Musa alayhi salam, Dawood alayhi salam, and Sulaiman alayhi salam. Despite receiving clear signs and guidance, they often struggled with faithfulness to Allah's commands. Their story is filled with lessons about the importance of remaining steadfast in one's faith and avoiding the pitfalls of worldly temptations. The relationship between the Bani Israel and their prophets was often strained due to their disobedience and turning away from Allah's guidance. Despite witnessing numerous miracles and receiving direct teachings from the prophets, many among them fell into arrogance, idol worship, and disobedience. The destruction of the temple and the hardships that followed were direct consequences of their actions, serving as a stark reminder of the importance of adhering to Allah's path. For Muslims, the story of the Temple of Solomon and the trials of the Bani Israel highlight the consequences of neglecting divine guidance. It emphasizes that no matter how privileged a nation may be, deviation from Allah's commands leads to downfall. This lesson is as relevant today as it was centuries ago, urging Muslims to stay true to their faith, avoid arrogance, and remain obedient to Allah's will. The Temple of Solomon was fundamentally a place of worship where people were called to submit to Allah. It symbolizes the importance of worshiping the one true God and maintaining a pure heart. In Islam, worship is not limited to physical acts like prayer, but encompasses a sincere intention to live according to Allah's guidance in every aspect of life. Muslims are reminded that the essence of worship is humility and devotion to Allah. Sulaiman alayhi salam built the temple not to display his power, but to create a space where Allah's worship could flourish. This teaches Muslims the importance of establishing environments that encourage faith, piety, and submission to Allah. The temple's mystical elements and secrets. The Temple of Solomon is often shrouded in mysteries and myths, particularly when it comes to the secrets it holds. From an Islamic perspective, the secrets of the temple are not tied to magical practices or hidden treasures, as often depicted in various legends, but rather in the deep spiritual lessons and the understanding of the divine powers granted to Sulaiman. Control over the jinn and supernatural forces. One of the most captivating aspects of the story of the Temple of Solomon is the control that Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam had over the jinn. In Islam, jinn are unseen beings created by Allah from smokeless fire, living alongside humans, yet in a different dimension. While humans cannot typically see or interact with jinn, Sulaiman alayhi salam was given a unique ability by Allah to command them, making him distinct from other prophets. This power was instrumental in the construction of the Temple of Solomon, demonstrating the special gifts that Allah bestowed upon Sulaiman alayhi salam and the extraordinary responsibilities that came with those gifts. Allah's gift of command over the jinn. Sulaiman alayhi salam was one of the few individuals in history to have direct control over the jinn. This was a special favor from Allah, granted only to him as a sign of Allah's greatness and the extraordinary wisdom given to Sulaiman alayhi salam. The Quran highlights this unique relationship in Surah As-Sad, where Allah says, "And to Solomon we subjected the wind, blowing forcefully, proceeding by his command toward the land which we had blessed. And of the devils were those who dived for him and did work other than that. And we were of them a guardian." This verse shows that the jinn were not just bystanders. They actively participated in serving Sulaiman alayhi salam. Their role was not voluntary, but was enforced by Sulaiman alayhi salam's command, reflecting his authority and the control that Allah had granted him. The construction of the temple with the help of the jinn. One of the most significant tasks the jinn undertook was assisting in the construction of the Temple of Solomon. They were involved in building massive structures, carving stones, and crafting intricate details that would be impossible for ordinary humans to achieve in such a short time. The jinn's labor highlighted the sheer scale of the project and the divine nature of its completion. This construction effort was not merely a display of grandeur, but served a deeper purpose. It was a place dedicated to the worship of Allah, a symbol of submission and reverence. The work of the jinn under Sulaiman alayhi salam's command illustrated that all beings, whether seen or unseen, are ultimately subject to Allah's will. A testament to Sulaiman alayhi salam's wisdom and authority. Sulaiman alayhi salam's ability to control the jinn set him apart from other prophets. This power was a sign of his immense wisdom and authority, which Allah granted him to fulfill his duties as a prophet and a just king. Mastery over supernatural beings like the jinn highlighted the profound level of control that Sulaiman alayhi salam had over his kingdom, both in the physical and spiritual realms. However, Sulaiman alayhi salam never allowed his extraordinary powers to lead him astray. Instead, he remained a humble servant of Allah, always aware that his authority was not his own, but a trust from Allah. He used his powers responsibly, ensuring that the jinn contributed positively to society by constructing a place dedicated to worship and the glorification of Allah. This reflects an important lesson for all believers. True leadership and authority should be exercised with humility, responsibility, and in accordance with Allah's guidance. The jinn's submission as a reminder of Allah's ultimate power. Although the jinn were powerful beings, they were entirely submissive to Sulaiman alayhi salam. This dynamic underscores a fundamental Islamic belief. All power belongs to Allah alone. Even beings as strong and mysterious as the jinn are powerless without Allah's permission. Sulaiman alayhi salam's control over the jinn serves as a reminder that true strength and authority do not lie in physical or supernatural power, but in obedience to Allah. The jinn's submission to Sulaiman alayhi salam also serves as a reminder of the importance of faith and trust in Allah's wisdom. It emphasizes that no matter how powerful one may seem, whether a human, a king, or even a jinn, all are bound by the will of Allah. Sulaiman alayhi salam's story teaches us that when a true believer acts under Allah's guidance, they can achieve remarkable things, far beyond what would ordinarily be possible. Lessons on humility and the responsible use of power. Sulaiman alayhi salam's control over the jinn is not just a story of supernatural authority, but also a lesson in humility and the responsible use of power. Despite his unique position, Sulaiman alayhi salam remained a model of humility, always acknowledging that his power was a gift from Allah. He did not abuse his authority over the jinn. Instead, he used it to fulfill Allah's commands, build places of worship, and maintain justice in his kingdom. This teaches us a valuable lesson about how we should handle the gifts and talents that Allah gives us. Whether it is knowledge, wealth, influence, or any form of power, these are not just for our personal benefit. They are responsibilities that must be used wisely and justly in the service of Allah and to benefit others. Arrogance, misuse, or neglect of these gifts can lead to serious consequences, as shown by the downfall of many who turned away from Allah's path. A reminder of the potential of a true believer. The story of Sulaiman alayhi salam and the jinn also serves as an inspiring reminder of what is possible when a believer fully trusts and follows Allah's guidance. Sulaiman alayhi salam did not accomplish great things because of his personal abilities alone. His success was a direct result of his unwavering faith, reliance on Allah, and commitment to carrying out his duties as a prophet. Sulaiman alayhi salam's leadership was marked by wisdom, justice, and a deep sense of accountability to Allah. This combination of qualities enabled him to govern not just his people, but also to control forces beyond human comprehension. It shows that when a person dedicates themselves to Allah, their potential is limitless. Allah can open doors and grant abilities beyond ordinary human capacity, demonstrating that anything is possible with sincere faith and devotion. The jinn is a symbol of hidden forces and Allah's control over all. The jinn's involvement in the Temple of Solomon also symbolizes the hidden forces at work in the world that are beyond human perception. While we may not see these forces, Allah is always in control, orchestrating everything in the universe, from the smallest detail to the grandest designs. The jinn's obedience to Sulaiman alayhi salam reflects the broader truth that all creatures, seen and unseen, are under Allah's command. This aspect of the story serves to remind Muslims that there is much more to reality than what meets the eye. Allah's knowledge and power encompass all things, including those that are beyond our understanding. Therefore, Muslims are encouraged to place their trust in Allah, knowing that He is in control of every aspect of their lives and the universe. Sulaiman alayhi salam's ability to command the jinn highlights the importance of recognizing the blessings that Allah grants us. Every gift, whether it is a unique talent, wealth, or even an opportunity, is a test of how we use it. Sulaiman alayhi salam set an example of how to use such gifts wisely, not for personal gain, but to serve Allah and benefit the community. Muslims are called to reflect on their own lives and consider how they are using the blessings they have been given. Are they using their skills to help others? Are they remaining humble and thankful to Allah? The story of Sulaiman alayhi salam encourages believers to continuously seek Allah's guidance in using their talents and resources in ways that align with His teachings. The throne and the ring of Sulaiman alayhi salam. Islamic tradition often mentions the throne of Sulaiman and the ring of Sulaiman, which symbolize his rule and control over the natural and supernatural realms. The throne, crafted with the assistance of the jinn, was not just a seat of power, but also a sign of Sulaiman's dominion over his kingdom, including the jinn and animals. The ring, according to some narrations, was a sign of his kingship and control. It is said that through this ring, Sulaiman alayhi salam could command the jinn. However, from a Muslim perspective, it is essential to understand that this power was not inherent to the ring itself, but was granted by Allah to Sulaiman alayhi salam as a symbol of his authority and his connection to the divine. The spiritual lessons of the temple. Beyond the physical structure, the true secrets of Solomon's temple lie in the spiritual lessons it imparts. The temple was a center of worship and reflection, where people were reminded of the importance of monotheism, justice, and obedience to Allah. The story of its construction by Sulaiman alayhi salam teaches the value of dedication, humility, and the pursuit of knowledge under divine guidance. The temple also serves as a reminder of the fleeting nature of worldly power. Despite the temple's grandeur, it was ultimately a place for prayer and submission to Allah, reminding believers that no matter how mighty one becomes, true power and success lie in submission to the Creator. The alleged hidden knowledge and the misuse of wisdom. Throughout history, there have been claims that Solomon's temple housed hidden knowledge or secret wisdom. Some of these claims revolve around the misuse of Sulaiman's knowledge, alayhi salam, by those who came after him, particularly in the context of magic and forbidden practices. The Quran warns against such falsehoods in Surah Al-Baqarah, where it discusses how some people followed what the devils falsely attributed to Sulaiman, alayhi salam. Allah clarifies that Sulaiman, alayhi salam, never engaged in magic or anything contrary to the teachings of Allah. The knowledge he possessed was granted by Allah for good and just purposes, and any misuse of that knowledge by others does not reflect on Sulaiman alayhi salam's true character or his prophetic mission. Connection to the present day. The temple's legacy continues to resonate in present-day discussions, especially in the context of Al-Aqsa Mosque, located in the same area where the temple once stood. For Muslims, this site holds immense religious significance as one of the holiest places in Islam, and it serves as a continuous reminder of the importance of maintaining the sanctity of places dedicated to Allah.
Are you sick of haram content popping up on YouTube and social media? Well, we have a solution. Check out the One Islam TV app, featuring music-free Islamic content. Check it out by downloading from these platforms or visit www.oneislam.tv.